Okay, so I wanted to make a video on this topic because I thought about it to myself and then I kind of went on a spiral of it, and I really thought it was something great to probably share. So I don't know what I was doing or what I was on, but I ended up coming to the conclusion of the thought that it's so much easier to give up when you don't have faith. And I thought about that because I do remember now. And I was thinking just about my whole connection with God and how I've gotten here. And like, I even wear the cross daily. Like, that's not something that matters too much to everybody. But to me, it's something that has grown into a habit and a fulfillment for me. And it makes me feel good. It makes me feel a little more protected. Even if it is just mental. Everything in life is mental. We already know that. So boom. So I want to go into this a little more. So when I say that when you don't have faith, it's so much easier to give up. I mean that by saying, like, even in yourself, if you don't have faith in yourself to do something, you probably won't do it or fulfill that action that you thought you wanted to do in the first place. And that's because you don't have faith in yourself. And with me, it was my whole life. Like, a lot of stuff has happened throughout my whole life, and I've dealt and coped with a lot of stuff. But it took me a while to get to the point where I realized that it wasn't about dealing with it or coping with it or finding a way through it, but it was about feeling it in general. Just feeling what I was feeling in the moment, feeling my emotions, feeling my everything, and not just feeling, because that's why I was about to get confused, but not just feeling, but thinking too. In the moments, thinking, because for me, how I think is I think about everything in my situation, my perspective first, because of course, self is key. You gotta put yourself first because, yeah, whatever you do to yourself is how you're gonna do to others. You treat others how you wanna be treated. If you treat yourself like shit, you will treat everybody else like shit, even if you don't intentionally mean to. So it all starts with you, you know what I mean? I'm blanking, but hold on. Okay, so for me, it was more so I didn't really have faith in anything. When I was in high school, after my little brother passed away, it took me a second to get to a method of coping. That's how I did my life for a minute. Like, that's how I got through things, was coping. And I just did that a lot, which I'm not gonna say it's bad or good. It's just about how you use it. It's just like, and I said this in another one of my videos, the 48 powers of law. It's just about how you use it. At the end of the day, it's just a tool. Coping is just a tool. It's nothing good nor bad. It's just how you use it. Reiterate it because that's what I mean. Like, you need to remember that on any situation, even any of these videos, any logic that I give you. So I spiraled a little bit, but in my life, at the end of the day, I started getting into just religions in general, spirituality. I started to look into Buddhism, and I went to witchcraft. I was going to Wicca. That was like my main thing. And then I got into paganism for a second, which, mind you, I don't even have the best knowledge of all these because in the time I was spiraling already. Mind you, I was like 16, 15. My little brother passed when I was 13. So there is some time for me to find something. But at that time, everything was looking down. Like, I would literally had the will to kill myself. Like, and that's so harsh to say and so uncensored, but because I didn't have faith in anything and because I didn't have a reason to really believe that I had a reason to live, I didn't. The main reasons for me was always coming back to family and friends, but even then, I started to see that that part didn't even matter for me either, because at the end of the day, me being here for them would mean more torment for me. And then I just realized, I had to realize that it was my reality, like, it was all myself. The only way things were gonna get better around me was if I looked at things better in general. And that all started with me working on myself. So I started like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I'm 21 now. So literally around 16 years old, when I was trying to find religion, I ended up finding like motivational video or something like that. And it led me down the Hope Core. And this was like around the time that TikTok was more so popular. And this was like COVID time and all that, because yeah. But Hope Core wasn't even a big thing back then. Like, I found Hope Core, I found a lot of these things before they actually were trending, and like, I hopped on them. So now the logic that I have is the logic that everybody's trying to learn, because they realize that, like, Hope Core, and like, I say Hope Core as that's what it is, or as if that's what it is, but it's really not. That's just one thing that leads you to this path. And at the end of the day, for me, Hope Corps was literally what it is. It was hope. It's like I didn't have hope in my life. Like my whole essence was to live for somebody that wasn't even like being there for me. You know what I mean? It was for me to be there for somebody that wasn't even there for me. And inevitably, I needed them more than they needed me. I wasn't even supposed to be there for them more than they were there for me. But life happened how it did, and I am here today, so it's okay. At the end of the day, yeah. Eventually, I found that, and it led me to the path of, I guess, light. Just a path of hope, a path of happiness. True peace lies within. And once you get right with yourself, things truly just don't, I don't even want to say don't matter, but they really don't. It's like they matter, but in a spectrum. Like matters are so normally exaggerated. Like even losing your phone, you'd exaggerate over that like it's about to run away, or like you lost it in the water to sea, when you're really in your house that you know you didn't leave. Like, you know, your phone's around here somewhere. And although that would take 5, maybe 10 minutes max off your time to find it, you know it's not gonna go nowhere. And even if you got lazy and decided to just sit down and relax and watch TV, that phone will still be where you forgot it was in the first place. You know what I mean? Unless it was truly stolen. But in those situations is what I mean, like we exaggerate it, because your phone might actually be stolen. That's a reason to exaggerate. But if you exaggerate with your phone being lost in the house, then is it really, or do you think it matters as much? Or in a sense, actually, it makes it seem less important, because it seems just like the same amount of importantness. But no, those are two different situations. Losing your phone somewhere where people can steal it versus in your house where, you know, it's just you or your people, then it's something different. You know what I mean? Two different situations. One's lighter than the other. So yeah, eventually I found God, and I had to, I feel like God found me the way he did on purpose, because although I went through all this stuff and everything, if I had found God the way people wanted me to originally, or like found God within the times before that I actually needed him more than anything, then I would have found the Bible, and I would have found everything, and I would have realized, or I would have turned into one of these Christians today. Not a true Christian, not a true person of love and light or love thy neighbor, but somebody who holds a standard to everything, and somebody who inevitably conditions being Christian to whatever these laws are. Like being, not even being Christian, but just being with God. You have to follow these laws, and that's why I don't 100% go with Christianity. I don't really I'm just not the biggest on it, because I look at the community and I'm just like, there are people out there that are actually good, that actually follow even their rules. But half the people that preach their rules don't follow them, or at least they're conditioning them to their own situation, or they're molding them so that way it can be validated. So the things that they do can be validated versus what everybody else does. It's like we're a world of sinners judging other people for sinning differently, or judging people for sinning differently. You know what I mean? It's the same thing, but we really are a whole world of sinners. Every one of us sin in some kind of way, even if you go off the Bible, or and I say off the Bible, I mean forget about all of that stuff. Forget about all the religion and anything. A sin meaning morally right and wrong. You know whatever your moral right and your moral wrong is. So for somebody else, it don't matter, because we're talking about you. If you do something that you know is wrong and you do it anyways, then you did something that you claim wrong, which means you did something wrong. You know what I mean? It's all about you in that first point. But so me finding God how I did, I found God the way that I feel like he wanted me to, which was love and light. He showed me the way to him through happiness, through the Hope Corps videos leading to a few tarot videos, which I'm not even big off of it. I believe in it a little bit, but I'm not always there, because I feel like it's sometimes too much, or there's too many people out there doing it nowadays, where it's actually people out there just going on a ChatGPT and typing in something so they can get a script. But inevitably, I found my way to him through true internal happiness, because eventually it led me to the meditation, and it led me to motivational videos. It led me to those specific type of motivational videos that actually taught me something, like a lesson. And that's when I started to realize that every lesson in life holds a key to life. Like, the universe is life. So if you have a key to life, you have a key to the universe. Having a key to the universe is having a key to life. And having a key to life just means that you're fulfilling the destiny of living. That means you're learning the lessons, because you only get the key from successfully learning whatever it is you're supposed to learn. And not just how, like when I say you're supposed to learn it, you're not just gonna learn it, but you actually understand what you're supposed to be learning. You know what I mean? So I found my way here. But today, I can actually say, with my own peace and sanity, even amidst all of this chaos that I'm around, which you will never truly know what I'm going through or like I'm dealing with or I'm around, because this is the internet. You know what I mean? You see what I show you. But although I can seem so light and bright, there is so much more going around and so much more going on in my head as well. Like, you know, I'm always thinking just like most likely you are. Like, that's what we do. We think. But thinking is what gets you to these answers. That's the whole point. But through it all, this past little bit of time, I honestly, like, my faith is what got me through it. I've even been broken, like I've broken and rebirth. I've done it multiple times within this small period of time, let alone just my life. Like, you're always gonna rebirth, or you're always gonna transform. You're always gonna die. Ego death, spiritual death, whatever kind of death you wanna call it, it's mentally just you as a person, as a whole, dying and starting over as another consciousness with the knowledge that your old consciousness had. So you don't forget anything, you don't change, but you over time become completely different than what you were before. You know what I mean? Inevitably forgetting the past, but not forgetting your lessons, not forgetting the keys, not forgetting what's right and wrong to you, not forgetting who you actually are, because that is who you're creating. The whole process is you just going on chapters, creating personal and character development. So, like, think about it this way. You read a book and you watch a movie and they're introduced as character and you absolutely love them. And in the second movie, they turn out to be bad and you hate them now. You know what I mean? That's character development, because you're not gonna just hate them. You're actually gonna side with them first, and you're probably gonna think about if you wanna be on their side or the others. Like, that's how the movies side, good and bad. Like, even Star Wars, you know what I mean? But inevitably, if you understand them, because you understand where they came from, or you understand the side from before you're getting the knowledge, you know what I mean? Like, that whole, I don't know, I'm losing myself, but I said what I said and it made sense. All right, my camera's acting up, but through the midst of that whole spiral, the whole point is pretty much, for me at least, it was easier to give up when I didn't have faith. And until I gained faith, and not just in God, but the whole way I gained my faith in God was Him teaching me how to gain faith in myself, was literally me gaining faith in myself and believing in myself before I could believe in anything else, before I could believe in anyone else, you know what I mean? God is always you. God is you. So you working on yourself is you being with God. And you working on yourself is you truly connecting to Him. The more you work on yourself, the more He shows within you. And not only through you, but to you. Because the more you work on yourself is like working on God, or working on your relationship with God. And the more you work on your relationship with God, or source of the universe, the more connected you get, the more that invisible line that goes from the top of your head all the way up just gets bigger and bigger. And people talk about downloads and all this stuff, and you can get more and more. You get more knowledge and more everything, because that whole thing, you start to work on yourself, you start to break traumas and change things, allowing yourself the space for new growth and new possibilities. So, if you don't have faith, then you can give up easier. Let me rephrase that. It's easier to give up if you don't have faith.